Hello and welcome back to BannerKings, and we are here attempting to take the last of the towns that the Zeroya have under their control. I don't think that's not a castle over there, right? No, that's not a castle. So yeah, basically these are just two villages, and they are, well, actually three villages, and they're connected to the town. And well, as you can clearly see, we've got a bit of a troublesome situation on our hands. They've decided to sally out against us. So that means I'm gonna have to go in here and actually deal with them ourselves. And this is not that good. This is not a good idea. This is one of those times where I just think to myself, you know, I actually wish that I had the ability to put artillery on the field, or, you know, to have some kind of ambush tactics, or just generally something that is going to give me an edge. Because at the moment, we don't have that. We're walking on the razor's edge. That's pretty much what's going on here right now. And bear in mind, I actually just forgot not to... I didn't equip my spear. I didn't equip my spear, so obviously that is a little bit of a problem as well. So this might be somewhat problematic. Let's actually see what the... let's see what our people do when they are auto-delegated, because obviously, as I've said before, they do a fantastic job. We don't have a huge amount of, you know, custom formations or anything like that to really fall back on. However, we do have 14 fire pots. And obviously, as you might expect, I will try to use those very, very well indeed. Yeah, let's do it. Boom. Nice damage. Okay, not as good as I wanted, actually. Boom. That's a little bit better. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, we want to try to lob it. That is what we want to do. We want to try to lob it as best as we can in the center of these people. Because if we can... Oh, are you serious right now? That was absolutely terrible. That was probably the worst throw I've ever made with one of these things. And that's saying something, considering I actually have been pretty... Huh. Alright. I'm gonna... I'm gonna get out of there, because we actually had a pretty decent thing going on there. Okay, yeah, so that's fine. We don't have a problem with this. This is okay. Yeah, this guy, okay, yeah, this is also fine. They're going to try and attack us, but this is also good. This is absolutely 100% fine. Even if this guy has a significant amount of troops, I actually took this into account before we went in there, because I thought to myself, yeah, they've got a lot of people in here. As you can see, they have literally over 1,200 people. So I was expecting them to sally out. And I thought it would actually be a pretty fun thing for us to do, nevertheless. So I thought, hey, let's try it out, see what happens. We're going to go for mounted patrols right there. And I'm actually going to be going for another point in... Wait, no. Did I already do that? Oh, okay. I want to go for another point in throwing skill, because I very desperately want to get to 200 weapon skill in throwing, because that is going to be amazing for us to get an additional 4 firebombs. That's going to be so good. So anyway, we're just going to do a nice little auto-resolve here. This is going to get us the victory without any problems whatsoever. You saw exactly what kind of composition this guy had. He had basically nothing at all, and we're just going to be taking them all prisoner, because that's what we're doing right now. We're basically just taking them prisoner, making sure they can't really do anything, you know, too dramatic. We're keeping them as, well, technically as powerless as they possibly can be. That is the strategy that we're kind of going for now. Actually, one thing we want to do, we want to try to equip some of these banners on some of our other people here. I'm going to try to decrease morale shock as much as possible. I think that's probably going to be a pretty good idea. Decrease morale shock. We could go to increase mounted movement speed, decrease morale shock. Let's just do that as well. It seems like other people already have kind of stuff going on here. Increase troop movement speed. That might actually be kind of fun, but I don't think he's actually doing anything for us anyway. As you can see, I actually have this. Increase melee damage by 15%, which is, in my opinion, pretty decent for an infantry-focused character. Considering I'm the captain of the infantry, right? You know, that makes the most sense. And otherwise, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go over to Razich now, because if I can go over there, hopefully I am actually going to be able to do that. I really, you know what, I gotta say, I really do wish I was still the same culture. I wish I was still the Joroya culture, because if I was, I would be having an absolute whale of a time right now. Because I'd be able to catch every single one of these people on the ocean waves. Because as it stands right now, I can't do that, because my culture slows me down by 0.2. It's actually quite funny, because it's not actually even slowing me. It's just that the other culture, the Joroya culture, is a seafaring culture. So it makes all the sense in the world that we would have, you know, much more opportunity to move fast. And that's kind of the thing that I actually wanted to, you know, wanted to maintain. And I kind of dropped the ball on that, unfortunately. I'll be the first person to tell you, you know. I did actually want to do, you know, I wanted to retain my culture as much as possible, because that was providing me with so much opportunity to attack people from pretty much any location. Because as long as I was on the ocean waves, I had very little disadvantage, basically. I was always at an advantage as long as I was on the water. And that makes a huge difference in my opinion. That's literally one of the, that is such a huge, huge difference. Because you may think, oh no, 0.2, that's not really going to make any difference, right? That's not going to make any difference. No, no, actually 0.2 is basically the difference between absolute and total annihilation of your opponent, or just running after them at the exact same speed. Because I don't know whether you've noticed previously when we've been on the ocean waves, it has been, let me, I'm not going to mince words here. It's very, very formal. I feel like that's kind of a weird word to use here, but formal is kind of the whole deal, because every single person, with the exception of the people that actually have good cultures for seafaring movement, they are all going to be slightly faster. So, you know, those people with the seafaring cultures, they're all going to be slightly faster, and everyone else, all of the random peasants that don't have that particular perk, they are all going to be slow. Or should we say, slower than the seafaring culture. So that's the reason why being a Joroya or being any of the other cultures, and I'd highly recommend just perusing, if you're going to create a character in BannerKings, BannerKings Cultures Expanded, that is. If you're going to do that in this particular mod pack, then I'd highly recommend just perusing through all of the cultures, see which ones actually provide you with seafaring speed, and naval speed, whatever it's called, and just picking one of those. Because no matter what it is, and this is a thing that happens in base game Bannerlord as well, unfortunately, there are definite efforts to make it so that the BannerKings perks are, or should we say the culture perks included in BannerKings are much more impactful and much more interesting. But unfortunately, because of the way the skeleton has been created all the way back in the base game, it doesn't really succeed, unfortunately, from my perspective at least. I personally feel like it would be extremely, extremely cool if we could get some, you know, this is just my, obviously this is just my perspective here, but I would love it. We're going to do this tournament just for the fun of it. But I personally would absolutely love it if we had the ability to have some kind of culture rework. And I'm not even talking about mods here, I'm talking about the base game, right? Because if you look at the base game, by the way, this banner is actually pretty good. Charge damage by 30%. Can you imagine this on someone that's actually leading the cavalry? Could be very, very strong. So I wouldn't mind winning this tournament, just literally purely for this. You can best bet that I'll forget about it immediately, by the way. So, you know, just bear that in mind. Just remember that I'm going to probably forget immediately upon winning that there is actually a banner available. But, you know, having a rework of the culture perks would be actually kind of cool, because the way they are right now, and I'm kind of saddened to say this actually, because personally for me, I think it would be amazing if there was, you know, something that was actually kind of differentiating between the play styles of the various cultures that you can play as. Obviously, they don't really want that to be a super significant thing. Obviously, I'm leaning more into RPG sort of mechanics here. Because obviously, if you think about it, you know, is a culture in a real-world setting going to be significantly different at a particular skill than another one? Maybe. Maybe, you know, like for example, someone that's grown up on the ocean waves, of course they're going to be much better at, you know, acclimatizing themselves to being on ships. Of course, you know, that's just generally to be expected. However, as I say, it would be pretty cool if we could have something a little bit more interesting than some of the other perks that we have available. Like, I seem to recall that there's actually a perk in one of the cultures in the base game that is something like 15% less influence or more influence due to some reason or another, and I just thought to myself, that feels very uninspired. It feels kind of... I mean, who cares? Who cares about 15% less or more or whatever influence? Because, in general, influence is not really that much of a big deal. And that's the funny thing. You know, you'd think influence would be like a really big thing, right? You'd think it would have a massive impact on the way the game plays and so on. And to a certain degree, sure, you might be right in some situations. And I'm mostly talking about voting for policies, controlling armies, you know, making vassals, you know, basically things to do with that nature. But if you think about it from a perspective of if you're not wanting to do any of those things, influence is basically pointless. Which, again, is not really this is not a modding issue, you know, this is just a base game issue. But the fact is, it would be very cool if influence would actually do something else. Like, for example, there are a couple of mods out there that do allow, I'm not sure if it's influence that actually controls this particular aspect of that mod, but you can orchestrate assassinations. And from my perspective, I feel like having some way to perform, you know, assassinations of various lords, kidnappings and things like that of various lords, that would be amazing. I think that would be really, really enjoyable, super, super fun. And, you know, there could even be counter assassinations, counter kidnappings and things like that, where you would literally be going and trying to thwart enemy assassins, enemy kidnappers and things like that. Maybe your lord that you're working for, maybe your liege, for example, is literally kidnapped. Maybe he gets kidnapped and he's like, oh no, I've been kidnapped, you must save me, you know, and then you go after him and you just go, yeah, okay, I'm here, let's, you know, then you have to go through a scene where you're fighting a bunch of enemies. And obviously this is kind of like the bandit thing at the very beginning, you know, saving your brother and stuff like that. But it could be in different locations, you know, it doesn't have to be in a bandit hideout, of course. But I'm just saying, you could make it in a town location or wherever, basically. This is just a very preliminary idea, of course, but I personally feel like things like this would drastically increase the dynamicism of the game in a political standpoint. I'm talking about a strategical layer that is just above the strategy layer of the overall, you know, what we've got to do here, which is siege battle, and so on and so forth, obviously. I'm talking about those things, right? Because obviously, as it stands right now, what kind of options do you have? By the way, Zuera is actually insane. This is actually a pretty funny idea. She's actually going to level up dramatically from me fighting her. I'm also going to level up pretty fast. That is actually kind of cool. Oh, I like that. Look at this. We're actually seeing her level up really, really nicely here. See, now this is another thing that I really, really enjoy about RBM specifically. I do like it if we level up fast. But it does make sense that if you are indeed fighting someone that is better than you or has more skill than you do, that you would inherently gain more skill points as a result. It's actually quite funny that Zuera has much less one-handed skill than me, but yet is still able to deal some, well, get some pretty good experience actually from here. It's quite surprising actually, but maybe I can get to 125. Do you think I can get to... no, she's going to get to 125. Do you think I can get to 225? Nope, not in a million years. I did win though. It's actually quite funny. I don't know what would have happened actually if she had won. But yeah, there you go. Won by Barney. And yeah, we got the Banner of the Night. So let me actually just remember that I won this, because obviously I am now going to be equipping it. And I don't actually know who is the leader of the cavalry. Can I actually see that outside of the battle? Because I have 120. Well, it's actually quite funny. I have 123 mounted archers, which is actually hilarious, because that particular banner is not very good for horse archers, because horse archers aren't going to be the ones that will be charging in. They will be the ones staying far, far back from any action whatsoever. They're going to be the ones that are just going to be shooting their little bows, doing, you know, 1 damage per shot. I'm obviously joking, because we do have quite a lot of these Joroya ones, and they're the ones that are going to be throwing the fire bombs, of course. So they're going to be doing a lot of damage. But anyway, the point is, I will try and see who is leading the cavalry, and then we'll give them the banner, and we'll see what's happening with them. But yeah, that was fun. I actually think that's pretty cool. But yeah, as I said about the whole culture thing, I just think it would be cooler if there was a way to make those perks and make those benefits and disadvantages a little bit more impactful. Because as it stands right now, they don't really... Sure, some of them are actually quite strong, but most of them are not amazing, at least from my perspective. Maybe there are some things that I'm not thinking of right now, and you know, maybe you're going to think of something that's a little bit more viable. But from my perspective, I feel like quite a lot of them are lacking quite a lot, and it's kind of sad, because I personally feel like they could be amazing. They could be super, super fun, but in this case, yeah, not really, you know. A lot of the ones are not that great. Most of them are basically just things like move faster in forests, move faster in the desert, move faster through snow, and stuff like that. And yeah, sure, you know, that's absolutely fine if you want to, you know, if you want to do something with that. Oh, hello there. All right. Oh, these guys want to fight us. Okay, this is actually quite funny. So they're basically attacking us with the garrison, which is obviously not exactly great. This is not really what we wanted, but yeah, there isn't really much for me to do here. I could go for some more control skill, which I think I will probably do, or shall we say control attribute, and then we can go for, I think the combat movement speed is going to be the thing I'll take. I actually did have a series a while ago called the Duelist, and it's a super fun series, probably one of my favorites, because we were using a one-handed weapon, no shield, and we were literally running around at basically one of the fastest movement speeds I've ever seen. Anyway, as you can see right here, we have Migali the Surgeon as our cavalry-focused person. So that's kind of interesting. All right. So he's obviously going to be getting the charge banner when we can. And I'm actually wondering what I can do here, because what I'm thinking right now that I'm going to throw this. Nice damage, nice damage. That literally spams my screen so hard right now. Okay, yeah, so let's actually just throw this once again. I'm just going to throw a bunch of these. I'm just going to try to kill as many people as possible with this. And then we are just going to get out of here. I'm just going to try to retreat. And then just come back in. This is basically the only way that we can really do this. And if you extrapolate a little bit about how that's going to work from a thematic standpoint, because let's face it, in a real world battle, we just have a bunch of skirmishers come up here. Okay, wait a minute. What do we got going on here? Hello there, sirs. You are not allowed to do this with your fire bombs. Oh, they have so many. This is not good. Oh dear. They have so many fire bombs. This is actually hilarious how many fire bombs they had. Did you see that? They literally killed so many of our people. Okay, so let's get out of here. And then we'll just go straight back on in. That's all I wanted to do. Just go straight back on in. Because I'm going to be using my fire bombs, going to try to use as many of them as possible, and then we're going to retreat, and then we're going to come back in. As you can see, Migali actually did get himself killed, so unfortunate for me, but yeah. Anyway, we'll put our people on auto-delegate this time. I didn't do that the last time because I was kind of hoping that my people would stay back as much as possible, but obviously that didn't really work out too well. So let's try to do something a little bit different here. I'd actually like to get into the main thick of things in regards to the enemy's skirmishers, because if I can kill them, then they're basically never going to be able to use their bombs, and that's kind of the whole deal here. Because if they use their bombs, we're basically going to be taking insane damage. But if they don't use their bombs, then we will probably end up achieving victory relatively simply with very few casualties. But obviously, that is a big if, if we can eliminate them. Okay, so let's try and kill this guy. There we go. Take him down. I need to be careful about my horse as well, because my horse is actually just about to die. Let me just throw this from range. Get that. There we go. Okay, now try to take out these ones as well, and I've only got one left. There we are. Okay. Now I can get out of here, and as you can see, we've done very little. We've done very little. Funnily enough, the bar at the top is a bit strange. Have you noticed? The combat bar at the top seems to be kind of weird. I don't actually know what's going on with that, but yeah, anyway. We'll go for Headhunter, even though Headhunter is absolutely pointless for me right now, considering I am using fire pots. You know what I should have done, by the way? I should have gotten a two-handed. Someone has been recommending two-handed weapons in the comments, and I've actually been very tempted, because I'm definitely someone that loves two-handed weapons. I've not used a two-handed weapon in RBM before, so I'm a little bit worried about it, considering I don't actually have any skill in it at all. But it is one of those things that I am always going to think to myself, oh yes, I would love to use a two-handed weapon right here. It's going to be an amazing, amazing thing for us to do, because it's going to have a cleaving ability, it's going to be able to cleave through multiple enemies, and, well, then we can have an extra stack of fire bombs where our shield would be. But obviously, as I said before, having a shield maybe is actually saving me right now. I don't actually know whether that is indeed the case, but, it might. Anyway, let's just do this. Okay, these are just mercenaries. These are actually not the firebomb guys. I think some of them are. Nope, that's a completely different guy. Okay, bit weird. Okay, so wait a minute. Is it these guys over here that are, or are we just facing completely different units now? Because if I can just have them waste their firebombs, then that's all I really need, I don't need to really, yeah, there's a couple of them, but as you can see, he's wasting them right now. He's just throwing them towards me for no reason. Okay, that's actually fantastic. That's really, really good. And now if I can just get up here, this is obviously very, very risky, because if I do end up dying, I'm going to have to run away again, and that's going to be pretty harsh. Wow, that was... You didn't see that, okay? You did not see that. Oh, look at all... Oh, no, there's so many firebombs over there. That's really bad. Okay. Yeah, we're having some huge issues here now. Okay, this guy stopped me. Kind of bad, but that's fine. I'm basically just going to be doing damage here. Okay, we've got to be careful. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. And we do have our people coming in. Bear in mind that what I'm trying to do here is just thin them out. That's it. I literally just want to thin them out as much as possible, and then we are going to actually go in for the actual fight. Because as it stands right now, we're basically just skirmishing with them. As you can see, we're just eliminating around 80 or so troops every single time we go in there. And then we're just going to be, as you can see, I am actually losing troops too, but this is the only way that we can actually achieve victory in this case. If I were to go full on, you know, against these guys, we would lose. That is just pure and simple what's going to happen here. So I'm using strategy, or attempting to do so, and, well, this is what's happening here. We're having some issues, you know, we're having a couple of issues actually doing that, but who knows, maybe we can actually do this. I don't see any firebombers there, so we should be fine. Just need to continue killing as many of the infantry as possible. Maybe we should try and focus on some of these guys as well. They're actually doing this very smartly. You look at this. You see how spread out the crossbowmen are? Very clever. That is actually very, very clever, because they know, well, I'm not sure if they do know, but they definitely are taking measures to counteract our firebombs. Because if they're separated, of course it's going to be a lot more difficult for us to do damage. And there we have it. Okay, that is actually really bad. I didn't do a very good job this time. So, yeah, that's not so good. That is not so good. Now, the main reason why that happened is because, I don't know whether you've noticed this, but if the firebomb hits a target before it has flown through the air for too long a time, so in other words, if it has not activated, I think it does not explode. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that, but from what I've seen, it only seems to do the physical damage when you've hit with that particular thing. Because obviously it's a pretty massive thing that you're throwing, right? And so when you hit a person's body with it, it doesn't seem to really explode. Let's actually see. As you can see, there's the explosion. There's the explosion. Yeah, and we're giving it good time. At least I think we're giving it good time right now. But maybe some of the time that is not how it works. Not sure. Okay, decent. Yes. Nice. Okay, there we go. We got some firebombers over here. I'm not sure if I should go over here and actually see if I can do something to them. It is a little bit worrying to deal with enemy firebombers as well, because mostly they are going to be extremely damaging to us. There we go. He's dead at least. I only have one left. Do I actually want to waste my firebombs on killing enemy firebombers? I feel like that's a huge sink of our resources, and probably a bit of a waste. But yeah, anyway, there we go. Basically, this is just huge rinse and repeat here, unfortunately. I don't really like this style of gameplay, but as I say, unless I were to wait for my people to actually come along and assist us, I feel like we're not going to be able to do this. We do get an opportunity to see some really nice battlefields, though. This is actually one of the main reasons why I really enjoy starting characters in the desert areas. Because you get to see things like this, you know? Because I really like the desert, the dunes, and things like that, and the oases that you get to see as well. And obviously, it just has a, I don't know, it just has a nice feel to it in comparison to the various forests and stuff like that. I don't know, I guess it's a little bit more unusual. You don't really see it that much, and I think it's kind of fun. You know, it's kind of fun to do that. But it's also kind of fun to see the firebombs at work, so I'm very, very happy to do that. There we go. These guys literally just got absolutely massacred. And the ground there took so much damage. Yeah, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that. Okay, yeah, let's see. Can I actually do something? Yeah, as you can see, it literally does 1 damage. well, should we say damage to one person. It does damage to one person sometimes. And I've eliminated all of their... yeah. All of their... who am I talking about right now? Infantry, that's it. I eliminated most of their infantry, so we don't really have to worry about them too much, but the main problem, of course, is the fact that their main force now seems to consist primarily of crossbowmen, which maybe isn't even that much of a problem, as we've said beforehand. Sometimes, do you think I should just go for it? You know what? I'm going to be hyper-aggressive here. I'm actually going to tell everyone to charge in. This is maybe a mistake. Just bear that in mind. Probably not the best idea, because if you actually decide to commit to a fight like this, it's probably going to result in some massive casualties for your own side, and I'm not a big fan of doing that, but that's what the environment does to me. You know, when you enjoy fighting on a particular battlefield, you just go, yeah, you know what, I'm going to fight here because it's so picturesque. But it probably makes no sense whatsoever for me to do it, especially considering these guys are probably going to absolutely murder us. Or are they? Because I'm being super aggressive here. And we've already eliminated every single one of their infantry. So maybe I didn't even need to be as cautious as I was before. Maybe we didn't need to retreat so fast in earlier rounds. Maybe that is indeed a bit of an error on my part. Maybe I should have been a little bit more... yeah, wow, okay. Never mind. Maybe I should have been a little bit more audacious with my actions here. Because as it stands, look at what's going on. We've killed 245. Well, I mean, we've eliminated 245, not killed them, but we've done a significant amount of damage. Now let's see if I can just eliminate a couple more of these infantry. There we go. Unfortunately, the infantry is now going to start fighting back, and they are our primary problem. With the exception of enemy firebombers, of course. Because they are going to be exceptionally good. And I am actually using a dagger on horseback. I don't know whether you noticed, but I am actually dealing damage with this thing. Surprisingly enough. It is definitely not recommended. It is one of the shortest, if not the shortest weapon in the entire game. And it's probably not a good idea to actually use this as a spear, but you can see here I'm actually using it as a thrusting weapon, and it seems to be doing pretty good damage when I actually, you know, make contact with it, because obviously it is very difficult to get the range on this thing. Sometimes it's better just to slash. Very much depends on which area of the body you hit, whether you do damage or not. But look at that, we actually did some good damage. Look at that, nice. Look at that, very good. I'm actually very surprised. I would not have expected that in a million years, but there you have it. I think we are actually going to achieve victory here. I feel like I want to retreat though, even so. Yeah, you know what? I am going to retreat here because this is a strategy, okay? This is a strategy that I'm using right now, because basically, if we were to continue the fight there, I personally feel like they would then draw us into their reinforcement waves, and we would end up losing quite a few of our cavalry. And I don't want to lose anyone. That's the reason why I've been doing all of this work, trying to get as many casualties on the enemy side in comparison to ours. So what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm just going to auto-delegate, and then we're going to go hyper-aggressive when we see the opportunity to do so. You can see here, look at how many infantry they actually have available here. Whoa, did you see that damage? I killed so many. None. Yes, that was a joke. Okay, so now otherwise, let's actually just see here. Can I actually do some damage, please? Yeah, there we go. Lob them. Lob it. Thank you. That is what I like to see. Look at it. Oh, the damage. The damage that is coming out right now is just immense. I wish they were a little bit closer together, but that's fine. Let's tell everyone to charge in now, and let's clean this up, because this is it. This is indeed the victory that we have been waiting for this entire time. And I still am a little bit suspicious But I'm thinking right now that because we're seeing a lot of really low tier troops, you see all these troops right here, they are super low tier because we have just absolutely massacred all the high tier infantry, and the only things left to deal with are oh wait a minute, what are these guys doing over here? I was gonna say the only things left to deal with are a handful of crossbowmen and maybe some more cavalry and things like that. But you can see here, look at these guys. These are the lowest tier infantry I've ever seen. As you can see, they're just citizens. Okay, so they're basically just, you know, conscripted citizens, and they are, well, they're basically out of their depth, aren't they? I mean, they're not going to really be able to do too much against a seasoned army like ours, but that's it. That is indeed a victory for us right there. And as I said, I definitely could have potentially been more aggressive in the earlier stages of this fight, but I was very worried. That's the point. I was being very paranoid, very worried about it, wanted to make sure to be as, you know, tactical as possible with our forces. I didn't want to, you know, give myself a chance for me to die, because as you can see, look at this, even just against these levies and things like that, I was getting low and I was just about to die. So, you know, pretty nice that we were able to do that. Otherwise, there we go, 223 renown and 203 influence. Actually insane. And there you have it. Actually very nice. Now let's actually see what happens with the garrison now. I'm kind of intrigued. So as you can see, most of the enemies that we were facing here are indeed mercenaries, right? Yeah. They are indeed mercenaries. So let's just rescue all of those guys, and that's all I can actually rescue right now, unfortunately. And then we can just take all of the loot. And I cannot wait to see how much loot we actually gain from that. But I'm going to assume it's not actually as much as I think, which is kind of disappointing, but that's just how it goes. Anyway, hopefully, and now let's cross fingers, hopefully the garrison itself is going to be minusculely defended. It's going to be so minimal that we'll just be able to walk through the front gates and just say, hello, I would like to claim this. And then they'll say, please fill out this form. And then I'll go, oh no, I'm very bad at filling out forms. And then they'll say, okay, well, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Just take a seat over there and we'll call your number when we're ready. And now let's actually have a look whether that is indeed the case. No, they still have 425. Okay, so we're not going to be walking in and just asking for the form. All right. So we're going to have to... I'm actually not entirely sure what we're going to have to do. I guess I'm going to actually have to build trebuchets, which is certainly not something I envisaged happening right now. That's for sure. Really? Okay, well... There it is. Trebuchets it is then, I suppose. Ah, yes. Okay, so there's one thing that I am seeing right now. Where's the battering ram? There it is. There's the battering ram. Okay, there's one thing I'm seeing right now that I am extremely worried about, and that is that they are wanting to make peace. They want to make peace with the Giroya right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel my other two trebuchets. We're going to get a battering ram up and running. And I'm going to hope that we can actually destroy the other catapults. No! Oh, they did it. The pain. The pain that I feel right now is basically non-existent because I don't really take games that seriously. But I am not very pleased. I am not very pleased right now. That is so sad. Oh well. Never mind. Never mind. That is so frustratingly annoying. And there is literally nothing I could do about this either. There is literally nothing I could do about this. Because if you are presented with a decision that your people want to make peace or want to make war or anything like that, you will not be able to get it passed, no matter what. And that really grinds my gears. That grinds my gears super, super hard, actually. And there are a number of other cases of that actually happening here as well. Like, for example, you see all this stuff right here? All of this stuff has, look at this. We have a 12% support for this. And there are so many things that you could do to actually increase the support, but I don't know them, and that's the whole point. I mean, look at the Royal Guard right here. Let me just look at this. Look at how many people actually are opposing this particular thing. It's extremely irritating. Very, very irritating indeed. So I can just vote for this guy and just increase my relation with him. I suppose that is a way to farm some charm skill and stuff like that if you want to. But I am... I mean, look at how many people they have left. They only have 419. And as I said to you, I was building the battering ram. I wanted to get 2 trebuchets up so that they would destroy the catapults, so that the catapults would not destroy the battering ram. And then I was going to go in there. I could have conceivably maybe gone in a little bit sooner, but I was just very worried that we would just have our battering ram immediately get destroyed, and then the enemy would just form really, really tight bottlenecks around the ladders, and then we would have an infinitely difficult attack on our hands, and we would never do it. So I was trying to assure that we would actually make it. But as it stands, it didn't work. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.